In my 20s, when I started my investing journey as an OFW, I really thought I was doing everything right. I was investing in stocks. In fact, I spent thousands of money learning technical analysis. And part of my job is doing financial analysis. So I really thought if I will just find the right company and invest in their stocks, I can beat the market and start winning in life. But after years of investing in stocks, it just didn't work. And I wasn't even looking to get rich quick. I just wanted something stable. Then I discovered index funds, something I had overlooked because it seemed too simple. But that simplicity was the point. It's low cost, long-term, consistent growth. It finally clicked. And honestly, that's when everything started to change for the first time. I felt like I was finally on the right path. My name is Adore. I'm an OFW and I work in finance in London. And in today's video, we're talking about the what, the why, and the how. What are index funds? Why this could be a good investment for you? And how can you start investing today? So make sure you tune in till the end of this video so I can show you how it's done. But before investing, it's very important to build a solid foundation first. It's like building a house. You need a solid foundation before building the ground up. So firstly, have a clear goal on why you're investing. For example, your short-term goal could be to buy a property in the next 3 to 5 years. But your long-term goal could be to have a comfortable retirement income when you retire in 50 or 20 years. So first, define your investing goal and equip yourself with knowledge on investing. Learn, read books, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos about investing like you're doing now. Secondly, you need to make sure your finances are in order. Sort out your finances. Pay any high interest debts like credit cards, overdrafts, anything over 10% except mortgage. Also, build an emergency fund. The recommendation is you have at least 3 months worth of living expenses before investing. And lastly, but most important, shift your mindset. Investing should be long-term. It's like a marathon. It's not a quick rich scheme. If anyone's offering you a product that says you will be rich in 3 months or in 3 years' time, you should be running away from them. So, why index funds?
The best single thing you could have done on March 11th, 1942, when I bought my first stock, was just buy an index fund and never look at a headline, never think about stocks anymore, just like you would do if you bought a farm. You just buy the farm and let the tenant farmer run it for you. And I pointed out that if you put $10,000 in an index fund that reinvested dividends, and I paused for a moment to let the audience try and guess how much it amounted to, and it would come to $51 million now.
By the way, this video is not in any way a financial advice. This is for educational purpose only. This is purely sharing my personal views and my personal experiences. So what is index fund? The definition of an index fund, it tracks the performance of a specific benchmark or index. So instead of hand selecting which stocks or bonds the fund will hold, or the fund manager buys all the stocks or bonds in an index it tracks. The most popular index fund that we will cover in today's video is S&P 500. It's called S&P because it's a stock index created by the financial intelligence company Standard & Poor's. Now the company is called S&P Global. And 500 because it tracks the performance of the 500 largestly publicly traded companies in the United States. Still confused? Sounds very technical, isn't it? In layman's term, assuming you are going to the supermarket or palengke, you're going to palengke to buy fruits. You buy an apple, an orange, or mango. Stock market is the same. You go buy stocks for Apple, Meta, Google, or Amazon. A stock represents ownership of the company. But instead of buying one fruit at a time, you are buying a fruit basket with the best selection of fruits sold and carefully selected by the supermarket owner. Index funds is the same. Instead of picking which company to invest, you are buying a group of company stocks already prepared for you, in this case by S&P Global. Okay, so let's simplify it further in Tagalog. Let's say you're going to a Sari Sari store. Bibili ka ng suka, toyo, patis, at banana ketchup. Kesa bilhin mo ito isa-isa, bibilhin mo ang buong Sari Sari Store. Shall we stick to the fruit analogy or the Sari Sari Store is better? So let's assume that 11/7 Sari Sari Store has 500 products in it. This is the same as index funds such as S&P 500. It has 500 companies inside it. Now, why invest in index funds like S&P 500? Number one, diversification. You are betting in 500 companies instead of just one or two companies. Say 100 companies in that index will not perform very well. The other 400 might do a lot better. Number two, it's low cost. Compared to investing in stocks, there are fees and commissions for every trade. Unlike index funds, the fees are very minimal and some platforms are free. This is important because you don't want your profits to be swallowed by fees. By the way, that's how banks earn money. S&P 500 has over 75-year history to prove that the stock market has returned an average of 10 to 11% per year. You don't need technical analysis, you just need fundamental analysis and a solid understanding of how index funds work. You don't need to time the market, understand what is bull and bear, when is the good time to buy, when is the good time to sell. The best way with index fund investing is you just ride the stock market in the long term. And I'm talking about 15, 20, 30 years horizon. Having said that, that makes investing in index fund passive and boring. So, if you're looking for something exciting, I'm not the one who's gonna tell you that the stock investing will not work. It does work as long as you're very good at it, that you are an expert in technical analysis. You can read financial statements and follow market trends. In the Philippines, we have successful investors in stocks like Martin Germo and Brother Bo. Brother Bo has been advocating stock investing for years. I've been following them for years. With stock market investing, you can win. For example, if we only knew that Amazon would grow like this big 20 years ago and invested in Amazon stocks, then we would have been multi-millionaire or billionaires by now. But you could also pick the wrong stocks. You can hold that for 10, 20 years and end up making no money like this. So why S&P 500 is so popular? If you invest in S&P 500, you are investing 50% of the global stock market. The US market continues to dominate the global stock market. As you can see, 60% of the global stock market is owned by US companies. And for a company to be part of an index like S&P 500, it has to meet certain criteria like the size of the company, 50% of the stock should be publicly traded, it should be highly liquid, and it should have positive earnings in the past quarter and the past year. In short, going back to the Sari Sari Store analogy, dapat po kumikitang kabuhayan ang Sari Sari Store. Bawal po ang utang, at kung meron man, yung utang nababayaran po agad. At kung meron mang hindi nabibenta sa Sari Sari Store, tinatanggal po or pinapalitan siya ng mas mabentang produkto. If we look back 20 years ago, General Electric is the biggest company in the index. Moving forward 25 years, this is now dominated by the Magnificent Seven companies. So the beauty of index fund is that you don't have to keep changing your investment as the index will do it for you. For example, Tesla was only added in 2020, while Whirlpool was removed in 2024 due to decreased capitalization. But here's the thing, remember that the stock market has not always been smooth sailing. There were market crashes like the Black Monday crash in the 1990s, the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s, and the financial crisis in 2008. More recently, there was the COVID-19 crash, and after that, we had a very good run for 2 to 3 years, but now the market is down again. The key here is we don't know when these market crashes will happen. But if you are a long-term investor, with what's happening in the stock market today, it won't change the way I invest. In fact, crashes for me are good because it just means the stocks are on sale. We love going for a shopping spree when our favorite brands are on sale, right? Our approach to investing should be similar. In fact, this is when you can generate the maximum return as long as you continue to ride the market by investing consistently on a regular basis. To illustrate further, if you invested $1,000 in the year 2000 and considering there was a market crash in 2008, your money would still have grown 10 times in value in 2025. So how do you invest in index funds? If you are in the UK, you can open a stocks and shares ISA with these platforms. I made a video on how to open a stocks and shares ISA. I'll include it in the link below. And if you are in the Philippines, you can go to your local banks. They have feeder funds that tracks the global index or S&P 500, for example. Where can I find the index fund to invest? So if you go to justetf.com, for example, let's find S&P 500. You can find all the details, the historical performance, the total expense ratio, and which stock exchange it's being traded. So now it's your turn. Do you know better platforms to invest in index funds in the Philippines or in the UK? What is your investment strategy this year? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss brand new videos coming up.